Although the sword looks super awesome, and it's also massive on you. So, I don't know, just do with that as you will. Buddy, what's going on, everyone? Jerome here, and welcome to an awesome Minecraft video. Today, we're going to be covering the 3 mods in Minecraft that, in my opinion, have had some of the biggest impact on the game and the community itself. Now, these mods have really changed things completely, and honestly, each and every one of them that I cover is one that I love so much. In fact, I've done a series on all 3 of these mods on multiple occasions, so you may recognize them quite well. But this is a little bit different than my normal style of content, and if you guys want to see more things like it, then do me a big favor. Smash that like button, subscribe as well, and let me know down below in the comments section. Also, if you feel like I covered a mod that you wouldn't have, or if you think there's another mod out there that maybe I missed, let me know as well. Which one of them is your favorite mods? Alright, leading off our list at number 1 is, of course, Pixelmon. Now, Pixelmon has been around for such a long time, and it's been a rocky road as well. For a while, it was pulled off the internet, and it's finally back up so you can go and download it, which is really cool. But it's really, really important to the community, in my opinion, because it was one of the first actual Minecraft mod crossovers that took a game that's already in existence and really brought it to life in a bigger and, honestly, in my opinion, better way. So in the past, obviously, most Pokemon games, if not all of them arguably, are pretty much just your basic ones where you hop on in, you go on a pre-storyline adventure, and you have set pathways you could travel. In this Minecraft world, you are able to free roam around on your feet and actually take part in the Pokemon world. You can fully submerge yourself in it, and that is absolutely awesome. Now, the reason this is so important is because it took a game that was already in existence and added another dimension to it, which is something that in the Minecraft community, up until this point, hadn't been done before to my knowledge. Most of the mods up until this point were just fun little ones. Maybe they added in new weapons, and perhaps even there might have been some crossovers from other movies and things like that, or video games. However, most of the times they were just taking little tiny assets from it and then throwing it into Minecraft. This completely changes the dynamic. If you're unfamiliar with the mods, some of the things that make it so cool is that you can actually, obviously, capture Pokemon, and just like in the actual games, you can level them up, you can play around as well and battle other trainers, you can trade with them, you can make entire villages, and you can even play on different servers. In fact, I play on my own server, Pokeplay. So there's a lot of different ways you can play Pixelmon. Some people choose to play solo and go on their very own adventure and try to collect every single Pokemon. Other people go online and play on servers with other people and try to be the strongest out of all their friends. I mean, there really is no rule to how you can play. And the amazing part about this too is that it doesn't just stop at adding in new Pokemon. You're able to have your entire own adventure as well. In the game, you could play just like normal Minecraft. You can make houses, you could do all of that, so you can have your very own plot of land, and then on top of that, you can also go ahead and make all the different assets and things you'd find in the Pokemon world. These include making healers, so you can heal up your Pokemon, even making ranch blocks, they're called, so that you can breed them as well, just like you would normally do in the daycare and some of the other versions of Pokemon. Some other cool parts about Pixelmon is that there's obviously been a lot of care and time that has gone into actually creating it. As you can see here, the panel for battling is absolutely beautiful, and it feels like you're playing legitimately on just a regular old game. Except the cool part about it is that you have a 3-dimensional view of the entire map. It actually kind of reminds me almost of Pokemon Stadium style battles, or Coliseum even, which were both amazing games from the past. Another amazing feature about the game is that depending on which biome you're in, different types of Pokemon will actually spawn. So it's not just like Pokemon will randomly spawn on a whim wherever they feel like. Oh no, the Pokemon actually match different areas. For instance, being we're in Extreme Hills biome, you'll find lots of different things like Machops and Fanpeas, so a lot of like rock types or fighting types or ground types even. So as you can see here, we're in the desert, and there's Diglets, there's Numels, there's also some Pachirisus, and of course, Geodudes. So pretty much no matter where you go in the game, you'll get a different feel for it. And they don't just stop there either. If you press F3, you may actually look and see the different biomes that you go through, and you might notice that there are a few that don't even exist in the Minecraft world. It actually added in its very own few biomes, which is something amazing that not a lot of mods really do. Some other cool adaptations as well is that you'll eventually find villages, and unlike normal villages, you'll actually find Pokemarts full with shop traders right here, so you get Pokeballs, Great Balls, and things like that, or TM traders as well. And across the way, there's usually a Pokemon Center not too far. Now, inside of these towns, towns, you can get your money by selling various items to them that you may find from just scavenging the world around you. On top of that, along the way, you'll also meet other travelers, like this trainer right here, who's willing to have a battle with us. He's level 3 only, so it'll be an easy fight for us. But when you beat him, they'll give you Poké Dollars, just like in the actual games, and then they kind of just disappear and go on their merry way. You may also even find mover learners this way, people who want to trade with you, move tutors, and the list really just goes on and on. There's just so many cool things to explore in this world, and you never really know what you're going to see next. The final part that makes it so special, it has a built-in system that basically randomizes your chances and makes it extremely difficult to find legendary Pokemon. That way, whenever you find a legendary Pokemon, it feels extra special and really feels like you accomplished something. Last but not least, the reason why I feel like Pixelmon deserves to be on this list of top 3s is simply because it also really rallied the community behind a single mod, unlike anything else I've ever seen in the past at the time. Now, going back to 2013 or even earlier, this mod was pretty much seen on, I would say, most major YouTubers that covered Minecraft's channels at the time. I mean, it was all over the place and rampant. Even I ran a series of it as well. I'm pretty sure that Sky Does Minecraft had a series on it, or at least did videos on it. You had tons of other people like the Little Lizard Gaming crew. I mean, if you name it, they probably have done stuff with Pixelmon. So the fact that it banded together not only YouTubers, but communities really makes this game extra special. So that's why I believe that Pixelmon makes its way onto this list of top 3s. However, we still have 2 more big ones to cover. Next on the list, we have Orespawn. And as you could tell by the giant evil dragon right here, there's all sorts of insanity to be had when playing with the Orespawn mod. Now, on top of having absolutely crazy and wild overpowered creatures, Orespawn also adds in a variety of different weapons, variety of different utility items, and on top of that, just adventures and cool things to be had. It has multiple different dimensions as well, and there's just so much that can be said about it. So we're going to go through and cover some of those various things, but I would say the first thing that's needed to be appreciated is their awesome bosses. They have a whole list of them, not only including the king, but also you have the queen as well, who's very similar, just a little bit weaker of a dragon. Then you even have something called Mobzilla, which is basically, as crazy as this sounds, just a giant Godzilla of its very own. And pretty much the whole point of the mod pack itself is to keep making progressively better and better items and weapons so that you can beat every single tier of boss and you can make your way up. So for instance, once you kill the first boss that you could say is Mothra, you get Mothra armor, which is better than any diamond armor. Then you could go ahead and maybe perhaps beat Mobzilla, and then you get Mobzilla armor, and then you could beat the queen and get queen scale armor, and then eventually you can make your way up and beat the king. So pretty much it has this whole progressive storyline to it that just makes it super addicting and fun. Now, not all the creatures in Orespawn are out to get you. There's also some other really cute and cool ones as well. Like this golden apple cow, for instance, when you kill it, drops not only apples, but also golden apples. And of course, what you'd expect, leather and raw beef. So it's really cool, actually, and there's just different types of goofy things like that that really add a lot of dimension to the game. Speaking of dimensions, there's a really cool way you can transport yourself between different dimensions in Orespawn. Now, most of these dimensions come from the 5 different types of ants. We're not going to go to every single one, but as a for instance, here's the unstable ant dimension, which has a really cool feature about it in that it pretty much only exclusively spawns in various different dungeons that you could beat. So if you ever wanted a quick way to go adventuring, take out some dungeons, and hopefully get some awesome loot, like this one right here, then you can go ahead and head to the unstable ant dimension, and you never really know what you're going to find or get as well. They're usually guarded by tons of different mobs, so it's not exactly easy to break through to them. And in fact, if you ever wanted to go ahead and get the best armor weapon in the game, this is the dimension you do it in. You have to go find a Queen's Challenge dungeon, and believe me, that's not taken lightly. You need some serious items to defeat this thing, and then once you beat the Queen's Challenge dungeon, you'll get for yourself the best armor in the game, Queen Scale armor, and a Royal Guardian sword with plus 750 attack damage. Now, 750 attack damage sounds like that would be insanely OP, and it is to normal mobs, but some of the creatures you come across in this world, that's not exactly gonna cut it. Although the sword looks super awesome, and it's also massive on you, so I don't know, just do with that as you will, but it looks very goofy. Now, some of the dimensions are absolutely goofy, however. So for instance, you have the Rainbow Ant dimension, where it just looks like a peaceful place during the day. There's tons of villages, everything's all fine and dandy, and then when you turn it to nighttime, something a little bit crazy kind of happens. mods. And that insanity is giant robots that spawn in and start destroying the villages. You can't make this up. Pretty much the robots will come in, destroy any villagers that they see in sight, and because of that reason, in this dimension, the villagers actually sometimes come equipped with town guards. So the town guards will start shooting at them, trying to take them out, but usually the resistance is, well, futile. That's where you come in, however. If you come to their aid and take out some of these different types of robots, you have a chance to actually get for yourself a ray gun, and the ray gun is super awesome. It's explosive, sends you flying through the air whenever you shoot it, and also just does a ton of damage to things that it might make contact with. So, overall, honestly, really worth coming to this dimension. Now, the mod itself adds a slew of different types of utility items that wouldn't exactly be classed as weapons or armor or anything like that. One of those, for instance, is the miner's dream. You use one of these bad boys down below inside of a mine shaft or anywhere, and it'll make for yourself a huge mining cavern and delete pretty much all the stone in its path in order to generate just an awesome area that you can mine in. It torches it up for you, shows all the different ores around, and really gives you, I guess, a better mining experience overall. Now, if you look around, there are tons of different ores in this mod. Some of the most notable are, of course, rubies, amethyst, and the stuff that makes ultimate armor, which would go ahead and be uranium and titanium. Now, some of these ores aren't actually in ore spawn. This is a mod pack I'm using that's in Crazy Craft, but I'll explain that a little bit later. Now, some of these ores, you might be wondering what they do. They allow you to make all sorts of crazy and wacky weapons. Now, some of them are really good, like the ultimate sword, or pretty much any of the weapons that are in my inventory here, and some of them just go towards the downright wacky side. That doesn't mean that they're not good. They're amazing, but they're just wacky. Like the ultimate bow, where you don't even have to charge it up, and you can just spam it like a machine gun. It also does a tremendous amount of damage, and it'll pretty much one-shot any vanilla mob you throw in its way. There's also things like the Queen Scale Battle Axe, which is just absolutely awesome. It's really powerful. It's 672 attack damage, and also if someone was running at you with that, probably wouldn't mess around with them. Now, on that list of wacky things would be the chainsaw, which doesn't just do a tremendous amount of damage, it also allows you to cut down trees and forests at amazing speeds, such as that. It even increases the loot drop rate as well, as you can see from, I guess, well, mostly dead bushes, but there are some saplings and things in there as well. So pretty much the chainsaw is a really cool way to weaponize the axe. Now, on top of all these things that just make ore spawn absolutely epic, the reason why it's so near and dear to my heart is because just like Pixelmon, it allowed for huge communities to grow around this single game, and it was actually something that also YouTubers pretty much used as a staple for their mod packs for the longest time. One of the most notable of these mod packs would most certainly have to be Crazy Craft. Now, Crazy Craft is a series that I've covered, honestly, probably like 4 or 5 separate times in my YouTube experience. It's literally something I come back to almost every single year, and I don't think I'm gonna stop that trend for a very long time. I mean, it's just so much fun, and it's honestly timeless, the adventures that you can have in these. I know one of mine, for instance, lasted over 100 episodes long, and I'm not the only one as well. There are tons of other notable YouTubers who have taken this mod and thrown it into mod packs of theirs and just had fun and had amazing times with it. Orespawn has this amazing ability to not only be its own standalone mod, but be something that could be a great accessory to others. That way you can create your own adventures, and of course, you can use the assets from within it so that you can make all sorts of crazy storylines, mod packs, you name it. Pretty much, you take this mod, and your experience with Minecraft is just opened up. So that's why Orespawn made it into the top 3 list for me. Let me know in the comment section if you guys agree. Now, the last mod that makes this list would have to be none other than Twilight Forest. Now, before we dive too far into the Twilight Forest mod, the biggest thing to remind you of is that it's its very own dimension that allows you to follow along with an epic storyline step by step by step as you try to save the world. Now, to my knowledge, the mod is still in development and has been for literally over 5-6 years, so I don't even know if there's an official end to the story yet. Last I checked, there isn't. However, that might have changed over the last year or so. So the way you access the dimension is by creating a nice 2x2 water pool like this, putting flowers all around it, dropping a diamond in, and boom, we have a portal. Now, from here, it's super cool, because once you hop on into this new dimension, you could pretty much forget all about the overworld. Now, of course, if you wanted to, you can hop back anytime you want through the same portal. It'll spawn over on this side, and then you'll be back in normal land, but there's really no reason to do that. In this world, there's all sorts of custom ores down below. They also have the vanilla ores as well, so you can get all the resources, everything you'd want in regular Minecraft in this dimension. And then finally, you have an epic storyline. Now, the reason why I find this mod to be so impactful, and why I believe believe it deserves to be on this list is because it was arguably one of the first story-driven mods that was widely popularized. Now, a lot of the times, people will download different mods that were like Pixelmon or like Spawn, and that allowed them to kind of create their own adventures, go off on a limb, and just really do whatever they wanted. This was one of the first mods that created its own storyline and said, nope, this is the story, this is how you progress, and because it was so amazingly done, people adopted it. People actually fell in love with it, myself included. I've played through this thing about 3, 4, maybe even 5 different times. Now, of course, this is after they've changed the mod multiple times, so basically it'll get an update and then sometimes I'll play it again, but that being said, the story is just that much fun that honestly, it even has replayability. The way you follow along with a storyline to see if you're actually progressing on and doing the right thing is you just simply go to your achievements list, hit Twilight Forest, and you follow it step by step by step. First, you have to kill the Naga, and then eventually you keep on going, like killing the Lich King, eventually defeating the Urgast, and finally, even the Ice Queen. These boss battles are definitely not to be taken lightly, and you're probably wondering where you'd find these different bosses at. Well, luckily, through the use of an awesome thing they have called the Magic Map, it'll actually outline pretty much everything of note for you. Now, all those different symbols either symbolize a location that's important on the map or a boss. So as a for instance, you might see one towards the top there that looks like a ghost or a ghast. Well, you guessed it, that's called the Urgast, and he's a really kind of scary, insane boss, to be honest. Along the way as well, you won't just find custom bosses, but you'll also find custom creatures, some of which are peaceful, like these nice little rams over here, and there's also deers in the forest, like this cute little guy right here, and some of them are just downright kind of nasty, honestly. To show you guys some of the armor and weapons, we have right here fiery armor, and of course, a steel leaf sword. Now, the steel leaf sword is kind of meant to replace the diamond sword. It does +7 attack damage, but of course, it's just themed differently, and it's just, you know, kind of fun to play with new things. It helps you immerse yourself in the story a little bit more. The way that they ensure that you actually follow along the storyline is that future areas and biomes are usually blocked off in some sort of way until you defeat the boss prior to it. That way you're kind of forced into following along with the storyline and make sure that you're constantly going in the right direction. Another cool feature as well is that when you win a boss battle, you'll sometimes get yourself a really cool custom item. One of these, for instance, like when you kill the Lich King, will actually be a zombie scepter, which lets you spawn in zombie minions that'll help fight on your behalf. Now, the custom overpowered weapons don't just stop there, but I'll let you try and find some of those out for yourself if you're interested in playing. Now, here's one of the first boss battles, which is against the Naga. Just for fun, I'm gonna fight him along with my zombie minion army, and look at them go! Oh my gosh, they're actually putting in some damage right now. That's so epic. All right, let's get this Naga out of here. Come on, Naga. You're no match for my fiery blade and my fiery armor as well. Let's go, let's go. Oh. And look, the Naga gets shorter and shorter as you defeat him. And then boom, we got him and got for ourselves the Naga trophy. So once again, the Twilight Forest is a really awesome progressive storyline mod, and I highly suggest checking it out. And if you're not one for just a simple type of mod like that, it really works well when you add it into mod packs as well. I mean, I've played countless mod packs that also include the Twilight Story mod in it. And honestly, they kind of seamlessly fit together. So that's why I believe the Twilight Forest deserves to be in the top 3 list. Let me know what you think about that. And of course, let me know what you thought about all the ones on this list. Do you guys agree with my choices? Do you think I missed any? Let me know in the comments section. But apart from that, take care. Thanks for watching this special, a little bit different video, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye, friends!